Now, laws on possession and use of firearms are once again on the national agenda. It comes after videos allegedly showing private security personnel shooting at civilians during the recent civil unrest starting and doing the rounds on social media. Meanwhile, the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority says all registered businesses ought to be aware of these laws. For some expansion, I'm now joined by the Director, Manabela Chauke of the PSIRA. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot of outrage was expressed by lots of people over videos that emerged showing private security personnel allegedly shooting at civilians. What's your immediate reaction to that?
Good morning to the viewers and good morning to you. Indeed, these are very outrageous things that we're seeing that are circulating on social media. As I said on the other media platforms, we are investigating these videos, doing, I think, our best to ensure that we bring those that have contravened the code of conduct to book and to also investigate abuses of firearms that we see on these videos.
You've also said that businesses should be aware of the laws that regulate such alleged security personnel. What are some of these laws that really need to be known?
But we have a very clear and comprehensive code of conduct with regard to what security officers, how they need to conduct themselves. And also we have a Firearms Control Act which governs, and its regulations which governs how the firearms is to be used. So they ought to be aware. These are competent people who are given licenses by the law to utilize this. So we expect them to know the law very well.
You speak about an investigation that will be underway. When it comes to the videos that we're seeing, what are the leads looking like in terms of putting those people behind bars? Because, I mean, clearly some crimes were committed here.
Indeed. I must say that we are receiving videos. Even last night we received some. As in when we talk about this, we see that people are opening up and sending those videos to us for investigation. I must also say that some of them are old videos and are not totally related to these things that we've seen in the recent past week and so on. But those that we've received in the area of KZN or KwaZulu-Natal, we are investigating those and we're doing very well. And I'm sure very soon we will see some fruit of those investigations.
As a body, how do you regulate private security personnel?
Well, generally, there's a lot of strategies that we deploy in terms of regulation. Most of them is monitoring. So we do visit them on the sites where they are deployed. We visit the companies, we check their books. And we also do a lot of stakeholder engagements with them in terms of dealing with compliance issues as well as educating the industry. So you can see also we're on social media, we're everywhere, we've got the app. So we talk to them on a daily basis, we talk to them hourly about how they need to be conducting themselves. Also, we have to remember that they undergo training. They also periodical training that they undergo, which they are taught and they are revised in terms of how they need to be conducting themselves. Most of it is currently operational, but in the future we'll have mandatory training, which will be focused mainly on regulatory issues.
And ordinary citizens, how can they then see the red flags in terms of conduct of people who may be claiming to be private security personnel?
I think behavior is the most important thing, and the conduct. First of all, they need to be displaying clearly who they are. They need to have the cards that permit them to be there, to be security officers. They need to be registered. And the data in which you can check registration is quite very free and public. So you can go to our website, you can go to our mobile app, and you can also check with our offices whether a security officer or a security company is registered. No.
And in terms of regulation, what are some of the biggest challenges that you encounter as a body, especially in the recent unrest and the events that have transpired over the past few days?
I think the biggest challenge that we encountered recently is complaints regarding to abuse of power. You might be aware that some security officers started manning roadblocks that are illegal, that started searching people, started detaining people or stopping people or limiting their movement, which is unlawful. And some of them used their firearms in a manner in which the law doesn't allow, and so on. So those are the main issues that we encountered recently.
And very lastly, before we let you go, in allowing civilians and ordinary citizens some power and some justice, how do they contact your department and how can they engage with your department should a concern arise?
Well, we've got our contact lines on the platform. I can also give some here. We have a front line which allows members of the public to complain anonymously. Just trying to find the number now. It's 086 333 036. So on that line, they can actually complain anonymously to us. They can also send emails to us. They can contact our offices directly. All of this is also available on our mobile app.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time, Manabela Chauke of the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, giving out some details around some complaints and the outrage that we saw playing out as a number of videos circulated on social media showing people who claimed to be private security personnel conducting firearms in a manner which is not under the regulations of the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority.